You're watching News Central now. I'm Tolulokwe Adeleru Balogun. The top stories at this hour. PDP kicks as APC candidate Monday Okpebholo wins Edo Governorship election. Kidnapped Zamfara varsity students staff released after 7 months. And police arrest opposition leaders, block protest in Tanzania. The details are coming shortly. News Central now at this hour begins with the Edo Governorship election, where the All Progressives Congress candidate, Senator Monday Okpebholo, has been declared the winner of the Edo State governorship election. He won 11 out of 18 local government areas announced by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. INEC's returning officer, Professor Farouk Adamu Kuta, revealed that the APC won with some 2,900 and 1,667 votes, while the People's Democratic Party followed with 247,274. Apologies. Now, the Labour Party came in third with 18,737 votes. The votes come from a total of 2.2 million voters with permanent voter cards spread out across the 18 local government areas and 4,519 polling units in Edo State.
Party APC, 291,667 votes. Party LP, 22,763 votes. Party PDP, 247,274 votes. Bola Monday of APC, having satisfied the requirement of the law, is hereby declared the winner and is returned elected. Signed by the returning officer, Professor Farouk Adamu Kuta, this day, 22nd day of September 2024. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. God bless Edo State. Thank you very much.
Meanwhile, the governor-elect of Edo State, Monday Okpebholo, has reacted to his declaration as the winner of the Edo governorship election by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. In his victory speech, he thanked the people of the state for choosing the right person for the job.
Very happy, and I thank Edo people for choosing the right person for the job. Look, a new Edo is rising. I'm here to develop Edo. I want to transform Edo the way it should be. I want to tell you that I'm starting from where I'm supposed to stop, and I want to let you also know that I would like to emulate what Akpabio has done in Akwa Ibom State. Edo will receive a new transformation. By the grace of God, Edo.
Senator Oshiom, the senator representing Edo North at the Senate, also reacted to the victory of the APC candidate.
Everything and anything that God cannot do does not exist.
Thank you.
And that is why when ordinary men and women boast of their power, those with wisdom know that power resides only with God. And those who win it on the planet Earth are only the few that God has so anointed. And that is why when some people say election is a do or die, we say no. It's about choice, it's about celebration of the power of the ordinary citizen to hire and fire people who otherwise can even sign death sentence. Now, today, God by his infinite powers has decreed Senator Monday Okpebholo, alias Akpako Rescue. Some now call him Akpako Miracle because they don't need all of that to make up for the 8-year disaster of Obaseki and Oshiom together.
Yes.
So on this day, first we give thanks to God Almighty that we did all those campaigns without casualty, that we did all those campaigns without any allegation against the candidate and any one of us for visiting violence on anyone. Even when they planned and they did succeed in killing his bodyguard in order to frighten him. God said, my son, who I have anointed, will not be frightened.
President Bola Tinubu has congratulated Senator Monday Okpebholo, the All Progressive Congress candidate, on his victory in the Edo State governorship election. He was declared the winner by INEC after defeating the candidates of the People's Democratic Party and the Labour Party. President Tinubu praised APC leaders and governors for their efforts, calling the win a testament to the people's support for the party's economic reforms and commitment to progress. He urged the incoming governor to be humble in victory and unite the people of Edo State. The governor of Edo State, Godwin Obaseki, has also reacted to the conclusion of the polls. Here's what he had to say.
My dear good people of Edo State, in the last few months, the various political parties have embarked on very rigorous campaigns to sell their respective candidates for the office of governor to the people of Edo State, in an exercise which came to a climax yesterday. The attractive thing about democracy is the power it bestows on the people to choose who governs them. Therefore, when this power is blatantly seized from the people, it is not just a tragedy, but a travesty of democracy. Regrettably, the outcome of the September 21st governorship election appears to have daunted the spirit of many Edo people who feel powerless in the face of the brute force of the institutions that are supposed to protect them. It is therefore understandable that many people feel sad and aggrieved. But in the midst of this despair, I'm urging all my fellow Edo citizens to maintain calm and not resort to violence and the destruction of property in spite of this provocation. Peace and justice will always win at the end, and this is my prescription to all the good people of Edo State who feel vexed and violated at this time. Clearly, it is obvious to the least discerning the amount of impunity and reckless disregard for processes and law that was displayed in this gubernatorial election. In a democracy, there are always safeguards for addressing grievances, and we hope that all those affected will seek resolution for this blatant disregard of law and process. With this in mind, I implore all Edo people to go about their lawful businesses and rest assured of the commitment of our government to your well-being and security. God bless the people of Edo State. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
And that's the President, Governor of Edo State. We now have our correspondents, Austin Azu and Amading Uyi, who are still in Edo State, joining us now to look more at the outcome, of course, the reactions across the state. Amading, good afternoon.
Please.
All right, let me see if Austin is ready now. Austin Azu, are you with me?
Yeah, good afternoon. I can hear you. Good afternoon.
Fantastic. So, Austin, tell us where you are and what the atmosphere is like. What seems to be the reaction of the people to the outcome of the Edo State's governorship election?
Yes, we are currently here in Benin City. Of course, the atmosphere here in Benin City seems to be quite different from what is obtainable elsewhere across the state. But unlike other places where election, is being announced and the winner has been congratulated, we are here to get the feelers across Benin, our metropolis here. The town still remain like normal daily activity, no much activity compared to what is obtainable elsewhere when you have a wide jubilation that might have erupted the streets and various roads. But we don't know why that has been. Probably maybe they are still waiting for the time for them to do that. But as we can speak at the moment, we have some other people who are standing by to share more light to us and tell us more about what the atmosphere seems like in their areas, because most of the places we have seen earlier on, we saw the presence of security personnel marching precisely on the airport road and other places. Okay, sir, let's meet you. Tell us your name and tell us how the atmosphere looks like in the new here.
I am Leftist Omobudiago, the Coordinator General Edo civil society organizations. The atmosphere as of today is calm. It's calm, not like it was yesterday or 2 weeks before yesterday. Earlier it was very tense, and tense, horrible, and very fearful. We thought the heavens will collapse, but thank God that all of that did not happen. So we have a very peaceful environment in Edo, calm as it were now, after the announcement of the results yesterday.
Unlike other places where you have probably by now you might have seen a lot of persons celebrating along the streets and other places. Have you seen any of that within Benin here? Yes, I've seen the areas I drove past morning. I saw celebrations of members of the APC in those places. I expected to see a protest from the PDP rather, but I saw the celebration of the APC people at different places. In fact, that have caused some traffic grids in those areas. So it's there.
All right,
celebration is not the kind of general celebration we would have expected. Though I asked one of them, I said, this is not the normal tradition of celebration. Okay. Yeah. And he said they are waiting for their certificate to be issued before they will start that celebration.
Thank you very much.
All right, Austin, just hold on a moment. We do have Amadi Uyi, who's actually, I think, in the midst of some APC supporters now. Amadi, can you hear me?
Okay, the line is a bit faint, but let me just describe what is going on. It's a victory parade for the All Progressives Congress in Auchi State, in Auchi in Edo State. But before I go on, let me speak to the DG of the campaign council. Okay, sir, first, can you tell us your name?
My name is Honorable Yakubu Musa, a.k.a. Honorable Yaksin, former local government chairman, Isako West, and the DG of the campaign council, Isako West.
Okay, it's been celebration. Can we know why?
Yeah, we are celebrating because of the victory. APC won the election and bringing in a new lease of life for our people in Edo State. Isako West is APC. APC is Isako West. This is the home of our comrade Senator Oshiom, and we are telling the world and the people that APC is here in this local government. And we use this medium to thank our people who voted massively for us, over 32,000 votes that was recorded in Isako West, and to appreciate them and to assure them that there will be good governance, that our governor-elect, Monday Okpebholo, will do justice to the injustice done by Obaseki, and he's going to start his governance from where Comrade Oshiom stopped. And there will be massive infrastructural development, there will be empowerment, market women will be giving soft loans, and our students will be given loans to go to school, and our roads will be constructed, and there will be employment for our people.
Now, let me just cut you. Sorry, I'll get back to you. Amidst the jubilation, the PDP are alleging that the votes were massively rigged. What is your take on that?
I always ask the question, any PDP electorate or voter that his unit was rigged, he should raise up his hand. If they didn't rig your unit, why do you think it was rigged in another man's unit? So voting went very, very well in Edo State, in Isako West, in every local government, and there was no rigging in any polling unit. As far as I'm concerned, there was none in my unit, and there's none in our unit. If any PDP polling unit was rigged, he should come out and say it. And how was it done? He should tell us. So as far as we are concerned, the election was free and fair, the freest so ever, and we stand by it, and whoever doesn't like it can go to court. Thank you very much.
Hello, Tolu, we are not done. We are not done. Let me get another person, one of the executives of the campaign here. Okay, can we get to know your full names?
Honorable Ahmed Dauda, APC chairman, Isako West, Edo State.
Okay, for you, when you heard your candidate being announced as the winner of the election last night around 2 a.m., what was the feeling like?
I was overjoyed. I was overwhelmed with the victory. The people are happy because the past government, they did not do anything for the people. So that is why you see they massively came out and voted PDP.
Yes. Now, in Esako West, Auchi and environs, we observed that there was no voter apathy. Why? What do you think was the reason for that?
Because of the massive development of our leader when he was governor, Senator Oshiom touched the people. He developed the senatorial district, he showed the whole state as a whole. That is why when he came and he gave us Monday Okpebholo as a candidate of APC, the people were happy. So they came out and voted massively for APC.
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you. Tolu, you have heard it loud and clear. For them, the celebration is not over. They say they are going around the streets of Auchi to let the people of the town know that, yes, this is an APC stronghold, and they delivered on their candidates.
Yes. All right. Thank you so much, Amading. I'm not sure if I still have Austin. Okay, I can see Austin with me. Austin, I believe you were on the line and you heard some of the reactions that came from those around Amading, especially the coordinator for the elections. But we know that civil society groups have actually flagged some issues with the Edo Guber polls. Are those any of the things that people are mentioning to you on your side of things in Benin City, Austin?
Sorry, please, I didn't get the question. The network was quite down.
So we know that civil society organizations released a letter today citing some issues with the poll, as they have said. Have any of the people you've spoken to in Benin City also raised any issues with the conduct of the election?
I can't still hear you clearly. The network is breaking.
All right, so I think we'll move on now, having some technical situations there, but we'll, of course, see to keeping you up to date with our correspondents who are still on the ground in Edo State as reactions continue to come in after the outcome of the election in Edo State. Now, governors under the platform of the People's Democratic Party have commended the people of Edo State for trooping out in their numbers to exercise their legitimate duty to choose the person who would govern them and the state for the next 4 years. The governors, however, have reminded the Independent National Electoral Commission of the need to live up to the oath of office of the Commission's principal officers and the expectations of the people to serve as an impartial umpire committed to deepening the country's democracy.
Gentlemen of the press, update on the illegal interruption of collation of Edo State governorship election results. The collation process was violently interrupted in several local government areas across the state. In Edo South local government, collation process was stopped in Oredo and Okpebholo and Ego and moved illegally to the state headquarters of the State Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, in Benin on the instruction of the Assistant Inspector General of Police in complete breach of the statutory collation process. Affected party agents and representatives were then ordered to converge on the INEC headquarters in Adowa, Okpebholo local government area for completion of the collation exercise. Upon arrival, agents of the PDP were not allowed into INEC state office for the exercise. On the other hand, agents of the APC were allowed unfettered access into the INEC premises to participate in the collation process. This was also in the breach of the electoral.
In the meantime, the Edo State chapter of the PDP says entries made by officers appointed by INEC for the conduct of the Edo State governorship election are totally different from the actual results uploaded on INEC's IREV, thereby unjustly inflating votes in favor of the APC. The chairman, Edo State chapter of the PDP, Dr. Anthony Aziegbemi, at a briefing said the results did not reflect the wishes of the Edo people and demanded the recollation of the results to address the identified irregularities.
The point we want to make in this press conference is drawing the attention of the INEC chairman and the commission to the massive irregularities we've noticed from our preliminary analysis of what is going on. Put clearly, you will expect that after an election is conducted, the Form EC8A is a primary document on which results are supposed to be transmitted. Those results sheets are basically uploaded onto a platform created by INEC known as the IREV. You would expect that the figures, the summation of the figures on Form EC8A should or ought to be the same as the ones you will get on IREV. You will also expect that the announcement by the chief returning officer for the state or by the LGA returning officer at the State Collation Center should also tally with the previous two figures because it's about the same thing. What we have noticed, once again, preliminary analysis shows that there is massive discrepancies in those three figures for nearly all the local governments in the state.
It's time now for a break. When we return, Nigeria ranks second for 2024 Global Crypto Adoption Index. We have the details after this. Join us again. A quick stop at business now, where Nigeria has become a major force in the global cryptocurrency scene in recent years, demonstrating incredible adaptation and tenacity in the face of governmental obstacles. Nigeria continues to rank second in the world on the 2024 Global Crypto Adoption Index, indicating a growing trend in the country's adoption of cryptocurrencies among its citizens, fueled by peer-to-peer novel transaction methods, purchasing power, and population size. The complexity of Nigeria's cryptocurrency ecosystem will be discussed in detail, along with the effects of recent legislative moves, the changing views of government officials, and the prospects for further expansion in the industry. Now, with the help of analysts and industry experts, we'll look at how Nigeria's distinct position in the cryptocurrency markets can affect overall economic trends, investor confidence, and much more. Joining me on News Central now from Port Harcourt is a crypto analyst, Solomon Amunde. Solomon, welcome to News Central now. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Given the fact that for the past several years, it seems that Nigeria's government has come down very, very heavy on cryptocurrencies legally in the country, are you surprised by this rating and the fact that Nigeria continues to be in the top 3, top 5 of some of these ratings when it comes to cryptocurrency adoption?
No, not at all. I'm not surprised by the rating because Nigerians are actually very resilient, and we can see the positive effects of cryptocurrencies in the country. It's something that has been quite useful to most of the people and citizens. So I'm not really surprised. I feel it's actually counterproductive if the government keeps trying to slow down the adoption of this technology, basically.
So it's interesting you say that it would be counterproductive for the government to slow it down, but it seems to be counterproductive for the government to make it illegal, to in some sense criminalize cryptocurrencies in Nigeria. But we've seen a move in the opposite direction now. Is that move going as fast as you would like, as fast as Nigerians are adopting cryptocurrencies, or are we still seeing a bit of reluctance to really accord cryptocurrencies the space that they are seemingly taking on now?
Well, sincerely speaking, it's not going as fast as we would expect, but it's something actually. At least the government has showed that they have the interest of the people, and they have shown that they have accepted this technology. So it's better than what we have been experiencing for the past 2 to 4 years. So I would say it's a move in the positive direction, but in terms of it being quite fast, it's not really that fast yet.
All right. Peer-to-peer, P2P transactions seem to really be one of the things driving cryptocurrency adoption in Nigeria. How do they compare to traditional exchange methods in terms of security and user experience? And what role do you think they play in even maintaining the popularity of cryptocurrencies in the country?
Yeah, I think P2P is actually very friendly, and most importantly, it's easily accessible. the traditional means of exchange is not really accessible to most persons. You tend to find out that you don't really have access to most of these currencies. For most persons that want access to the US dollar, they can't have it. Or in terms of the cryptocurrencies making use of P2P transactions, it's very easy for them to have access to stable coins. So I would say the fact that it's easily accessible, it's flexible, that plays a huge role in terms of its accessibility and also the influence it has over the people.
You've partially answered my next question because one thing we know is data doesn't lie. Nigeria retained its position as the second highest country in the Global Crypto Adoption Index. But you've also talked about what makes it seemingly more popular. That's, of course, the accessibility, affordability as well. Do you think that there are other specific market dynamics that could be, of course, fueling the growth despite the regulatory challenges that those who choose to operate in the cryptocurrency space in Nigeria have faced?
Yeah, definitely. There are other factors. We all know the rate of poverty is quite high in Nigeria, and we all know that the Naira is too volatile and it suffers from great devaluation. Just this year alone, we know how much percentage of the Naira has been lost to devaluation, at least about 30%. So when you look at this, people are looking for a way to hedge their profits. They are looking for a way to hedge their net worth. They are looking for a way to hedge their savings. And the easiest and best way that they can do that, which is also readily available, is when they run to like cryptocurrencies, which P2P gives them access to stable coins. So you can imagine where you have majority of the population looking for a way and a means to at least protect themselves from losing so much money by holding the Naira. That would obviously increase our participation in the crypto ecosystem and also our ranking worldwide. So I would say the poverty and the volatile nature of the Naira has also drastically helped push the adoption of cryptocurrencies in Nigeria.
All right, Solomon Amunde, crypto analyst, thank you so much for joining me on News Central Now.
Thank you very much.
All right. Now, Vice President Kashim Shatima has arrived in New York to represent Nigeria at the 79th United Nations General Assembly. The senior special assistant to the President on Media and Communications from the Office of the Vice President, Stanley Nwocha, made this known in a statement on Monday. According to him, Shatima touched down at John F. Kennedy International Airport in New York in the early hours of today. As directed by President Bola Tinubu, the Vice President would lead Nigeria's delegation to this year's UNGA, deliver Nigeria's national statement, and participate in various high-level meetings. The 79th session of the United Nations General Assembly marks a crucial milestone in the global effort to accelerate progress towards the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. The federal government has appealed to Nigerians to clear their canals, drainages, and gutters to mitigate flooding. A dam update report by the Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency says the water levels at the nation's critical stations along the River Benue showed a steady increase towards flood levels. According to the statement signed by the head Media and Publicity, Loretta Samuel, on Saturday, the rise continues but at flood preparedness level. Samuel urged the 12 flood-prone states earlier warned by the NIHSA to put measures in place to contain or allow conveyance. This comes after the recent overflow in the Alu Dam caused the worst flooding in Maiduguri, Borno State, and in the history of Nigeria. The United States has stepped up to provide critical humanitarian aid to thousands of victims affected by the devastating floods in Maiduguri and other parts of Borno State. This was revealed in a statement made available to journalists on Monday from the U.S. Embassy in Abuja. The U.S. government, through the U.S. Agency for International Development, launched relief efforts working alongside United Nations agencies and other partners. Over the past few days, U.S. aid, in partnership with the World Food Program, has distributed hot meals to more than 67,000 people in 4 IDP camps, among other efforts. We now head to Borno State, where the devastating floods that struck Maiduguri are now becoming history as the water has finally receded in most areas. Major cleanup efforts by residents to catch up on losses and businesses are springing up amidst resilience and hope for better days. News Central's Umaru Kariwa completes the report.
For many, everything is gone forever. Lives lost, properties destroyed, and the pain lingers. Yakubu Abubakar, News Central camera operator, had to meander through the flood with his aged mother and sister in the night to survive displacement alongside others at the NUJ Press Center.
Daren 10 ga watan Septemba mun ga tashin hankali. Don da fari muna ganin zuwan ruwan abun kamar ba zai yiwu ba haka dai da kaɗan har ruwan ya zo ya taru ya cika unguwa haka Allah ya kaddara zai faru. Wannan da kuke gani gidanmu ne nan ya rushe gashi nan ɗakuna ne 3 a jere.
Life has to continue for many after witnessing the devastating flood that swept away half of Maiduguri city and affected more than 2 million persons. So many families had to resort to taking refuge at government camps or houses of loved ones.
Gaskiya ba zai kowa ma ce zai iya mai da asarar da yi ba don ga halin da ake ciki dama a ƙasan kuma wannan abin ya zo ya faru. Taimako kan mun samu taimako da yawa, wallahi taimako ta inda ba ma tsammani ba. Taimako sun zo mana. Amun da mun dawo mun haƙura za mu ci gaba da gudanar da rayuwarmu.
Gaskiya kam alhamdulillah ala kulli halin amma mun jarabta sai dai dukkan wani abu da ya farko zai yi ƙarshe in kuma an yi haƙuri ubangiji zai kawo sauƙin wannan lamari.
Babbar kasuwa ce wanda ta tara al'umma dubbanin al'umma da baki da 'yan kasa duk anan ana kasuwa. Yau kuma alhamdulillah Allah ya kaddara kuduransa da ikonsa.
Garba Muhammad and other businessmen make clean-ups at their shops with the hope to grow better.
Yanzu muna kokari mu dan gyara waje mu share dan mu samu wajen neman cin abincin mu. Yau kusan kwana 10 kenan.
Abin da dai muka fita da shi daga ni har iyalaina har yarana sai kayan jikinmu sai kayan da muka dora shi nan. Amma kayan shago da kayan gida gaba ɗaya ruwa ya ɓata.
Here is the famous Gwange Bakin Gada, where both new and old tricycles are sold, now a shadow of itself.
12 dare da yake shiga gidanmu ina tosha da lamarin ya fi ƙarfi na sai na fita sai na kira masu gidanmu na ce to wannan ruwan fa ya fi ƙarfi na.
Wannan kasuwa tana ɗauke da mutum kimanin sama da mutum 500 wanda suke cin abinci a nan gurin. Wannan kasuwa mun tafka gagarumar asara ta dukiyoyinmu a wannan guri. Mun sa hannu biyu mun rungumi wannan kaddara da ta fada mana amma muna kira ga gwamnati da ta waiwaye mu ta dube mu ta shiga cikin wannan al'amari.
One thing is clear, while some local businesses in Maiduguri are slowly regaining their footing, other businessmen and women await the support from government and other organizations or individuals. In Maiduguri for News Central, Umaru Kirawa.
Now moving on to security matters, students and staff of the Federal University Kusa in Zamfara State who were kidnapped by bandits have regained their freedom after 7 months in captivity. The victims were reportedly kidnapped during an attack in the area in February of this year. Security analyst and counterinsurgency expert Zagazola Makama confirmed the release in a report via X on Monday. Although Zagazola did not further explain the circumstances behind their release and whether or not a ransom was paid, he indicated that security forces played a pivotal role in securing the victims' freedom. As Nigeria grapples with soaring youth unemployment, the demand for skill development has become increasingly urgent. With over 40% of young people either unemployed or underemployed, experts are calling for a reevaluation of job markets while speaking on better ways to develop profitable skills. News Central's Chidima Ona shares more in this report.
Research carried out by analysts indicates that sectors like technology and agriculture hold significant promise for job creation. However, a substantial skills gap persists, leaving many young Nigerians ill-equipped for opportunities. Employers and industry leaders speak on the importance of skill acquisition and ways to create an environment where people can hone their skills.
It's not enough to give access to one thing. It needs to be end-to-end, right? So usually people announce a training program, but then the women or men, whoever they're training, still need access to funding. So you give them the knowledge, but then they don't have the funding. That you have a problem there. Some people have the funding and the knowledge, but they don't have the mentorship to guide them, and that still becomes a problem.
Everything still boils down to skills. You need to develop your skills. And again, when I'm talking about skills, the IQ and also the EQ skills. So the IQ skills is the intelligent quotient, where you have to get the technical skills. The EQ skill is the emotional quotient. So your ability to work with people, interpersonal skills. Sometimes there are internship opportunities where you can enroll in, and from there, that's a way of positioning yourself.
While numerous initiatives exist, many industry experts have expressed concern over the effectiveness and accessibility of current programs. In an interview with Esther Judeonu, a founder of a youth-oriented non-profit organization, she speaks on her contributions to aiding young Nigerians.
And one thing is, like this year, we've onboarded 200 people from across 30 countries in Africa, and we've had like a higher number of Nigerians, of course, and the fellows have really enjoyed lots of benefit. We've placed 4 people in internships, incubating businesses. They are able to network, because when you talk about development, networking is also important when you talk about youth empowerment. So when these young people are able to network beyond borders, beyond like the country, they're able to access other opportunities, beyond their local environment.
As the dialogue continues, it shows that merely discussing these issues is insufficient. The challenge lies in transforming conversation into actionable strategies that can effectively unlock the potential of Nigerians' youth and prepare them for a rapidly evolving job market. In Lagos for News Central, Chidinma Ona.
Coming up, South African farmers worry about impact of heavy snowfall. We'll tell you more after the break. The news continues in southern Africa, where farmers in some parts of South Africa have expressed worries over the heavy snowfall in their regions over the weekend. Free States, Eastern Cape, and KwaZulu-Natal regions were the most affected. These are also agricultural endowed provinces, as farmers are now worried about the impact on farming. They say subsectors of agriculture like livestock, cattle, sheep and goats cannot deal with this harsh weather. To discuss more on this, we're joined by senior agricultural economist from the National Agricultural Marketing Council, Tabile Nkunjana. He joins us from Pretoria, South Africa. Tabile, thank you so much for joining us on News Central Now.
Thanks for having me, Tula, and good morning to the viewers at home.
Thank you. So over the weekend, we saw heavy snowfall in South Africa, which is unusual, or rather unusual for this time. How does this snowfall directly affect crops that are currently in the ground, especially with South Africa as one of the countries that depends so much on its agricultural sector?
Yeah, you are mentioning something very correct, that this was a very unusual thing for the country, because normally, as much as South Africa does get snow at times of the year, but we are already talking about spring. As a result, a lot of farmers are busy preparing for planting the summer grains in all states for this season. So therefore, when the snow came in, it came at a period where a lot of people were not anticipating it. As much as there are, measures to sort of kind of follow what is happening in terms of climate and all that, but this time around, it came at a period where it was not anticipated, at least to the level that it came in. As far as crops, across sector is concerned per se, with farming, as I was saying, especially crops, the country was only beginning to prepare for the plantation of the 2024-2025 summer and oil production. Therefore, for now, there's not much that, nothing has been, impacted or affected as far as crops is concerned. But the issue, as you mentioned, is mainly on livestock now. KwaZulu-Natal, for instance, and then Eastern Cape, there are two provinces that are very key in terms of the livestock across the country, and this includes, informal farmers or smallholder farmers that do not necessarily have, means and measures to protect their livestock. So the issue is there, particularly given that, especially those that are in the commercial areas, there's going to be a need of a lot of, adding to feed because the ground was covered, and therefore to make sure that the animals continue to survive, there's going to be a need for a provision of, to temporarily feed for now until the weather clears up a little bit in the next few days.
I think some of the pictures we're showing are some pictures people would never expect to see in their lifetime. Giraffes in a snow-covered forest, as it may be, elephants as well. We also unfortunately heard of the death of a woman in the traffic that is still being unsnarled as it is. But in terms of this heavy snowfall, how does it fit into larger climate trends that might impact agriculture in the region over the coming years? And how does it fit into some of the trends that you've noticed already?
Yeah, I mean, the reality is that, as I said earlier on, that this is an unfortunate, or at least a period where nobody was anticipating that would say snow. And this is something that the African continent, as far as climate-related issues have been reported, there's a research or work that is being done by the ARC within the African Union. They are doing a wonderful job in terms of tracking what has been happening as far as climate-related problems within the continent. At least it was reported for last year only that about at least over 20, I think around 29 countries within the continent, they have experienced, some severe issues related to, to climate. So therefore, this means then that we are experiencing, issues related from the climate change that is happening that a lot of us have not been, that have been not very familiar with. As a result, there is a need to make sure that there is a bit of, follow up in terms of what we do as the continent and the countries are within the continent to make sure that we are ready for this, because the reality is that we are experiencing, quite sporadic occurrences. For instance, here in South Africa, not so long ago, there was another issue where we saw quite a frost that does not normally, happen to the level that is experienced in one of the provinces. That again is something that was linked to the current climate issues that we are facing as a world, and of course, including the African continent as it is.
So are there any possible adaptive strategies or even practices that you could recommend for farmers in order for them to cope with the effects of climate change and the unpredictability of what is happening before us?
I mean, this can be looked into two ways. For one, the measures that can be put by the states to make sure that they react to situations when they come. But of course, that is going to require a very comprehensive data that will allow countries, or at least the organizations that are dealing with weather-related matters, to make sure that they provide information that is quite accurate when they are reporting on these issues. And then as for farmers, the issue there is going to be them to be able to adapt to the current trends in terms of what to produce and how to produce it. And this includes things like having to produce food using seeds that are somehow sort of scientifically proven to be resilient, for instance, to frost, to drought, and so forth. So those are some of the things that I feel like they're going to be important going on forward. Because remember, Africa is one of the regions that is being negatively impacted to a larger degree when you compare it to other regions. And therefore, given that you also have quite a large number of smallholder farmers who don't necessarily have, the technique, other, financial powers to be able to have measures around in place, it is a continent that I think a lot needs to be done in terms of informing farmers about what seed to produce, to use, and that is going to help them to cushion the shocks that come in relation to climate-related problems.
All right, thank you so much, Tabile, for joining me. We'll continue to provide updates on the situation in South Africa as it unfolds. And of course, we move things further into the region. Now, police have arrested Tanzania's top opposition figures as the authorities move to block a mass protest in the commercial capital, Dar es Salaam. Despite an official ban, the opposition Chadema party had vowed to go ahead with the rally over the alleged kidnapping and killing of its members by security forces. Chadema said its chairman, Freeman Mbowe, and his deputy, Tundu Lissu, were both arrested on Monday, while riot police were stationed in key areas across the city to prevent gatherings. The opposition party accuses President Samia Suluhu Hassan's government of returning the country to the repressive tactics of her predecessor, John Magufuli. And that's as much as we can take on the news at this time. But before we wrap up, let's give you the hour's top stories. PDP kicks as APC candidate Monday Okpebholo wins Edo Governorship election. Kidnapped Zamfara varsity students and staff members have been released after 7 months in captivity. And police arrest opposition leaders and block protests in Tanzania. Don't forget to send your eyewitness reports to the WhatsApp number on the screen. Also follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I'm Tolulope Adileru Balogun. Do have a pleasant afternoon.